And I said this is going to be my last question, but I've added another one. I hope that's okay. Because we touched on the lying, I think it's a really important one, especially in today's day and age, around the influence of media, influence of Rupert Murdoch. What is the party's position on media ownership laws and how they might try to combat what appears to be a war of mistruth and misinformation and fake news?
Yeah. Well, when you see our media policy come out, I mean, the reason I was happy for, well, not just I, but the reason the whole National Executive were happy for Mike to do it is because he's a headbanger, you know, and we knew that he would bring out a very, very tough draft policy, and he has. And it's got all sorts of wonderful stuff in it around divesting of cross-media ownership, bringing in concepts of fake news, bringing in concepts of requirements that media tag their program or their story with "this is news, this is opinion." And it turns out that they're passing off opinion as news, there'll be consequences. And even to the point where if they actually engage in what would be the extreme example, that's actual literal fake news where they just make stuff up, then that becomes a criminal act, you know. So that's Mike's policy, and I think that will translate pretty much into the policy of the party. Sorry, I've lost track of what was the. Oh, you were just asking about
Media
asking about our media policy, and my view is that this thing that's become a tradition where all new prime ministers have to make the pilgrimage to New York to fall at the feet of Rupert Murdoch, I think that's not how you deal with a bully. You know, I think you deal with a bully by standing up to them. You're not going to gain anything by kissing Rupert's little tushy. You know, I mean, no. We've got to take him head on. Fascinating thing about Murdoch that people forget is that when there's a wave of support in favour of a movement or a party or a person, he jumps on board, contrary to his normal philosophies, to support them. So he looks like he's a kingmaker. People forget that he supported Whitlam, he supported Hawke, and he supported Keating, and he supported Rudd. So if we stand up to him and say, no, you know, you'll just have to get your act together because this isn't happening anymore, he's more likely to support us than not. Maybe it doesn't matter, but that will be our attitude. What the danger for us is, you know, I think once our wave of change really starts to take, which it seems to be, and, you know, gets bigger and bigger, I think Murdoch will jump on board. People talk about, you know, if you know any of the editors inside the Murdoch empire, they tend to report back to him and say, this one isn't worth fighting, we're not going to win it. And then he says, well, turn around, jump on board, support them, make me look like the kingmaker. I think that's what he will do with us in actual fact. But the danger is not that. The danger is then when you get into power, then he starts working against you to undermine you. And that's why, you know, because he also wants to be the king destroyer. And that's why we need to have divesting of cross-media ownership and a whole range of policies to get to support alternative media. I don't, you know, the details of that are not yet here, but I think a lot of people are saying that, you know, the federal ICAC, a proper federal ICAC like we're recommending with teeth that can prosecute judges as well as bureaucrats as well as politicians who are corrupt, is only half the story of corruption in this country, or a third of the story. There's a three-pronged thing that needs to be addressed. One is the ICAC with the arms of government. The other is Murdoch, and the other is the influence of the donors, you know, and it's those three things that have put us in the sad state we're in now.
Absolutely.
Each one of those in itself is a huge battle with massive enemies, but
wealthy, powerful enemies.
Yeah. But you know, there are also wealthy, powerful people who don't want to see the planet destroyed. There are wealthy, powerful people who don't want people to get away with paying no tax.
Yeah.
You know? And I think they will rally behind us, along with, there's nothing more powerful than the population.
Absolutely.
That all demagogues like Scott Morrison, Peter Dutton fear the power of the people. And I think we're harnessing that.
And potentially give them a good scare.
Sorry?
And potentially give them a good scare.
Yeah, I don't think once the people get behind you, you can't stop them. No Murdoch, no big donors, nothing can stop them. People say that I'm a little bit of an idealist on that front, but I think history bears it out. It's happened.
Yeah.